Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wonderful episode of Finding Your Frequency. It's Finding Your Frequency Friday, and we're coming at you live right here in the Voice America Talk Radio studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. And without further ado, let me bring on my guest for the day, Rhonda McCrory. Rhonda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan.
So, Rhonda, we like to find our frequency here on Finding Our Frequency Fridays on the Voice America Variety Channel. And I know you're a mom, a business owner, and you were in the corporate world for a long time. So let's kind of talk about how you found your frequency in life and in business and decided to step outside of the corporate comfort zone and move over and do your own thing. What was that like?
Yep. All right. Well, it was a long time ago. I was working in commercial insurance. That was my first introduction into the corporate world. I did that for quite some years and met the father of my children, who had just started his own business in the real estate industry, and watched him struggle for a while. Didn't have a problem getting people in the door, but running a business was not something that he was trained in doing. And so I started helping him on the side, doing 2 jobs, started building a family, and then realized one day that we could do much better if I left the corporate world and joined him full time. So that's what I did, and it was a great transition, bumpy, but once we started getting it going, we grew from 1 business into 2 and into 3, went from mortgages to doing sales and listings, and then we started building ocean view single family homes. And nice. It was really quite a ride. So that's how I made my transition, but I took on the part of learning how to build the business so we could be sustainable and be able to grow. And that was, that's just been what I love to do ever since.
So that when you say building the company and getting it to grow, are you talking about like different systems and making it scalable so that way you guys could operate it at a higher efficiency? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So when I left, he was a one-man band, rock star without a band, doing everything himself. And he was a great front person, but the organization and all of that was kind of left by the wayside. And that's where I found that my strength was. So I started putting together and just learning the industry, when he'd say, we got to open escrow or we have to do this. And, okay, well, what does that entail? And then I just started processing everything to the point to where I could now hire people to do a lot of those tasks and then just keep him in his unique ability, which was visioning and, bringing in new clients and those kind of things. So that's how we were able to go from one company, from the mortgage. I've got a loan officer and a processor. And then we went ahead and said, okay, now we're going to do a boutique listing and sales company as well. And so then I learned what that was like, processed that, hired people to do that business. And then we were able to move on and do principal work and start building homes. And all because we put together the systems and the processes to be able to replicate and duplicate, what we knew to do in our heads and what we'd learned to do, but get other people and tools to make it grow.
Is there any specific sets of tools that you found to be, the catalyst or something that really helped you guys to scale?
Well, the first thing, and this is what I teach my one-on-one clients now, is the first part of it is just really having focus, and really being very clear about what it is that you want out of life and always keeping that in front of you as the motivator. And then secondarily, it was getting your schedule under control. I mean, we all struggle a lot with reacting to things instead of being the one who's driving the bus. So it was really learning those special tools to keep in control of your schedule. And then after that, it's learning how to build relationships and to keep them, because it's much easier. You spend a lot of money, business owners spend a lot of money getting people in the door, but then they don't keep up with the touch points and the communication, to keep developing those relationships into more repeat business and referral business. So that's the next part. And then after that, it's really processing and documenting all those systems, all those things that you know how to do in your head, but getting them down on paper so they can be translated, like I said, for other people to start doing the work for you.
So when you started moving into this real estate thing, was that in like the early 2000s? What kind of time frame was that in as you guys kind of started embarking on that new journey, being the band for the rock star?
Yeah, that was the late 90s until the mid 2000s. And then I like to call it, unfortunately, for he and I, we had a parting of the ways personally. So I had a huge change in family structure at that time. And my direction changed to where I had 3 children, with him. And with the court system being really favorable and seeing the situation as it was, they granted me full custody of my children. And I moved out of state. And I started over again. So
now that's intestinal fortitude right there.
Yeah, that was that was quite a story, and it's a whole nother one in and of itself. But yes, so the court granted me my kids, and I came out here with really nothing after all that. I fought for my kids. He fought for all the money, and that was fine with me. So I came out here and I started over. And I did have my broker's license from California, but again, I love real estate, but I loved the business side of it. And I had started helping other people just on the side, showing them what I did to help build our business. And so when I came out here, I reinvented myself and decided this is what I love to do. So I put together my own program of how I did it for myself and for others and started getting clients.
Well, that's awesome. So are you still doing real estate stuff now, or what does it look like? Are you mostly doing coaching? What is your day-to-day now?
My day-to-day is coaching. So I've been out here for 9 years, and I've been coaching full-time for 7. I have one-on-one clients, mostly all here, close to me, and I help them do the same thing. They come to me from a variety of different backgrounds. It's not just, I do have brokers, real estate and mortgage people that I work with, but I've also worked with roofers, photographers, glass blowers, group health insurance. It doesn't really matter. Business is business, and building it and the fundamentals are all the same. And so I have a great bunch of people that I work with and help them, also back themselves out of their business and make more money and have a lot more time.
Well, that's awesome, because everybody needs more money and more time, because then we can turn that into more family stimulus and spend more time with the things that matter. I mean, that's like my favorite thing to do is just hang out with my kid.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how I always felt. And that was the most important thing to me. When I left the corporate world I was starting my family, and I thought, why am I spending 8 or 9 hours a day with people that I don't even know? I'm starting my own family. I want to be with my own tribe. So that was the wonderful part about that, being able to take them to school, to be home after school, work out of my house if I wanted to, do the schedule that I liked. And I've been able to do that all up until now.
As the kids get older, that time that you want to spend with them gets kind of drug out farther and farther, right?
Yeah, it does. My kids are teenagers now, and it does seem like overnight that from, Mom, what are we going to do? And all of that to, oh, Mom, who, what? leave me alone, Mom. Friends. Yeah. Yeah. It's more about, do you have $5? So, yeah.
Hey, mine is 6, and she's always asking me for money. Dad, it's ice cream day at school. I need $2.
Oh, watch out. It just keeps getting more expensive.
Yeah, today they had what's called dollar dress down day, so they don't have to wear their uniform at school, and you can pay $1 to the school to not have to wear your uniform. So I had to give up another $1 today, too, for that. So I'm glad I'm just giving up $2 and $1 here and there. I'm sure, when it gets a little bit older, I'll be buying cars.
Oh, yes. There's all kinds of fun things coming your way.
Awesome. Well, Rhonda, you know what? We're going to take a quick commercial break right here at the 15 mark. She's a mom. She's a business owner. She's a systems savant. You can check her out at RondaReady.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back right after these messages. Yes. We were talking about a couple of things, about business. And one of the things we're talking about offline, we talked about CRM. And I said, oh, I love CRM. And you said, well, I have my own CRM, which I think is super cool. Let's talk a little bit about, number one, why CRM is important for any business. Let's talk about that. What is your understanding around that?
Well, it's funny, I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a thing called the wedding syndrome. And people get so hyped up about the wedding and they'll plan it for years and they'll spend thousands upon thousands of dollars, but they never even think about what it's going to look like afterwards, in the long-term relationship. Well, a contact relationship management system, a CRM, is all about that relationship. And in business, that is the most important part. There are so many systems and tools out there that help people market. And don't get me wrong, marketing is what gets you going. It's what gets people in the door and what gets you paid and gets the whole, ball going. But after that, it's really about how are you going to manage clients' expectations and how are you going to build relationships that last. You spend a lot of money getting people into your system, and then how are you going to keep it moving so you can keep getting that repeat referral business. And a CRM is critical for that to happen. And a good CRM will have a lot of automation, so it will really cut down on your time in doing things and provide a lot of efficiency and streamlining for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've headed up our technology group here at Voice America for several years, and we've gone through, 3 or 4 different CRM applications over the years. And I got to be honest, when they start talking about CRM, the worst thing that I hate changing CRMs, right? Moving from one to the other, because you're right. We spent so much time with all of the master files of database information of, whether it be prospective customers or clients that are in the, one section of the CRM versus, your accounts and your contacts, which are people who you're already doing business with, and trying to move that over from one place to the other, and still retain some level of working nature while that happens is a big pain in the butt. And,
yes, it can be.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important that you make a good decision on the CRM, and you're right, having some automation and things like that. So you have your own CRM, right? What does your CRM do?
So my CRM, is typical as far as it has a lot of, all the contact management fields and everything that you need to do to keep all your basic information. But what it has in addition to that is a whole lot of other things that a lot of CRMs, if they do have it, they're so wildly expensive, it's crazy. And they're so complicated that people don't even know how to use them. So in mine, there's all the contacts, but there's also job workflow module. There's also landing pages can be created in mine. So even if somebody doesn't have a website, they can create their own landing pages and no programming needed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have tons of templates. So lots of good tools to, funnel people into the system. There's also a voice touch module, which you can do texting, through the system and keep in touch with your customers and clients that way. That's numerous extensions you can make up.
That text message piece is super cool because especially nowadays, you have so many different ways to connect with your customers. And like, I'm super old school, right? I love to just if it's longer than a sentence, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling you, right? Rather than texting. But a lot of other people are completely different. Like they just live their whole lives in text messages and don't even have. I had somebody tell me the other day that they don't even have a voicemail box. Like they have a cell phone. They never set up the voicemail box because they figure, all right, well, if you call me and I don't answer, you can just text me. And so then they don't even check their voicemails anymore. And so there's like a shift in the way communication happens. And so keeping on top of that's really important.
Yep. So we have all of that. And with all of that, we also have a whole email template library and can do all email marketing automation through the system as well. So it's really an all-in-one solution for the business owner. Everything is there. Again, you can set up your own landing pages, get prospects through that. It'll automatically set up a new contact in the system. And then we have workflows that you can set up that start off, whether it's autoresponders, whether it's setting up another, manual action plan, for you or your admin to start working. And it's great.
Does it tie into social media at all?
It does. So in the contact card, if your contact has their email address associated with social media, their social media information will pop up, and you can communicate with them through social media directly through the CRM.
Oh, that's super cool. So we're talking to Rhonda McCrory here, online business coach, mom, and system savant, which we're finding out now as she's explaining the importance of CRM, and definitely have a CRM. So if you have your own CRM and you're using that for most of your business acquisition and management and all that stuff, is there something special that you use marketing? Because I know, like you said, marketing is how you get your customers in the door, you create brand awareness, all that fun stuff. So what are some of your favorite things on the marketing front that are happening nowadays?
Well, I am, back in the learning mode as well. I've always been a one-on-one, just word of mouth has been the way that I've grown my business. But now that I'm going and taking everything online, because my coaching program now at RondaReady.com is everything that I teach people in person in 74 video lessons, along with instructional worksheets, templates, and cut and paste examples for people to use. So in getting that message out, I am now working also with a marketing coach, if you will, and going to be utilizing a lot of things through social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a lot of direct marketing messaging that is even new to me. And it's really exciting. And once I get that all down for myself, that'll be something I'll be adding to the RondaReady.com courses as well. Marketing is an animal all into itself, and it's the beginning animal to get people in the door. And yes, you do need a plan, and plan from what vehicles are you using, what communication channels do you want to use, up to what is your scripting like, what is the exact message you want to get across, how are you narrowing down your target markets. You can have more than one. And then crucially, after all of that, once you're able to, do the marketing, which is changing the beliefs, to putting your offer out there and then converting offer, and asking for the sale, then what are you going to do after that? And that's the part that I really focus on, and that's what makes RondaReady different than most all of the other coaching and programs out there, because we really focus on, once you've spent all that hard-earned time and money, what now are you going to do that you have these people, these customers, these clients, to keep them your customers and clients, so that money doesn't just go out the other side.
You have to start out with building the relationship, starting with marketing of who you are and your brand, right? Exactly.
And it's so much easier, right? Like you were just saying, for the people who know, like, and trust you, to go ahead and refer you, and getting that type of business is so much more fun, and your conversion rates are so much better than going out and constantly having to get in front of people who don't know who you are. And so it's really important, again, to just keep building those systems and those processes to keep in front of people so they don't forget about you. It's really sad. When I was in California, and even up to a few years ago, I don't know what the stats are lately, but in real estate industry, over 80% of the people within 2 years have no clue who the real estate agent was. And that's disgusting, because realtors spend so much money on the forefront in marketing and advertising to get people. And then these people don't even know who they are 2 years later.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that. There's a guy here in town. His name is Russell Shaw. I hear these commercials all the time. He's probably the best real estate marketing person in Phoenix, because I can't tell you any name of any other real estate person in Phoenix, but I can remember Russell Shaw. Right? Because he always has these commercials, and he always ends it. He says, "If you don't like it, fire me. You're in control. I work for you." Right?
Okay.
But his marketing is so great, because I remember that, right? And he spends a ton of money on that too, and I'm sure he does some wonderful business in Phoenix too. And you're right. Like, I remember him. I don't even remember the person I bought my house from.
Exactly. Exactly. Because why? Because they had all the hype for the wedding the first time, but then they haven't kept up the relationship with you. And isn't it wonderful when those people who do know you introduce you to other people, and then they are already familiar with you through that other connection. And that's exactly what I teach. And that kind of organic will never go away. It just won't.
So how do you ramp up that organic, though? I mean, you can only have so much word of mouth, so much organic. What are the tips to try to ramp organic up? Because those ones are the best.
Yeah. Well, the name of the game is, building the numbers in your database. So at times, right, when you want to build your business more, we do have to go to that volume knob, so to speak, and do more of the cold advertising and marketing and bring more people in. But people who are even starting off, in a new business, the first thing you do, we kind of steal it from the MLM world, but not in the same way that we want every aunt and uncle being our first customer, but that we let them know what this new venture is, right? So we introduce ourselves, to the people in our sphere that way. And then from there, we just continue to keep in touch and let people know what we're doing and what we're about. And we start building organically our database in that manner. And then as people are referred to us, we just continue, with all the different touch points and whatnot. And in my system, we do train and we talk about how we have different touch points along with what we're doing in the technical aspect of whatever our business, service, or product is, to interject at the right times to build that value. And as we start building that value, that word of mouth, keeps traveling. And you're right. At some point, if we want to go from, one level to the next, it may be that we go back out into that cold, so to speak, marketing world to bring more numbers in. But we continually work our systems and our touches and whatnot to keep our database at least always feeding us 20% of whatever our database is with repeat and referral business. So we gauge, all of our efforts in each marketing unit, of our business, and how we're performing consistently. That's another big part of, learning to be a business owner, right? I know you do it all the time, is looking at your numbers, what's working, what's not, what do I need to improve, and it's the same thing in any business.
But yeah, if you're not looking at the numbers, like, what are you doing? You can't manage a business with your emotions.
Thank you. Yes. And I've been saying that from the beginning. That's the first thing I learned when I jumped ship out of corporate, and came on over. And it was like, it's exhausting. To run a business based off your personality. But that's the mistake that so many people make, and they stay there because they don't know any better. They've never been trained on how to be a business owner.
They got to get RondaReady.
That's right, because that is what we do. It's not business development. It is, but it's business owner development. It's teaching people how to be a business owner.
That's right, guys. We're talking to Rhonda McCrory from RondaReady.com, mom, business owner, and systems savant. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Rhonda, and we'll kind of find out what's up next with Rhonda. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on Finding Your Frequency. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ryan Treasure, host of Finding Your Frequency, bringing you back for our last segment of today's hour. We have a great guest that's online with us, Rhonda McCrory. She's an online business coach for go-getters and do-it-yourselfers, mom, business owner, and as we've learned throughout this show, a systems savant. We talked about CRM and marketing and all of those fun things and why those things are important and kind of some definitions around those. And I want to thank Rhonda for being on the show today. She's been a great and wonderfully fantastic guest with a wealth of knowledge and insights, and she's got the coaching business, RondaReady.com. I want to talk a little bit about that because I know you are an online business coach and you do all kinds of coaching for different businesses and industry sectors and all that. And the first thing I want to talk about, right, as I go to your website, the first thing I see is communication skills, little magic pills for your business. That's like the coolest thing I've seen all day. Communication skills are probably the most important thing that you could have as a business owner or being in business at all, because if you can't communicate your value proposition, then what are you doing?
Very true. Very true.
Do you help people to kind of figure that out and during your coaching sessions?
I do. I help, my clients figure out, what it is exactly. And that first part when we start working together, first off, it's what exactly is it they want to accomplish. Because if they don't have the end result in mind, where are we going? Right? We're rudderless. So we first do that. And then, yes, as part of the rest of the coaching, it's how are we talking to people? And a lot of that is with our clients and customers. A lot of it is learning how to manage their expectations up front. And that way the rest of the relationship, goes a lot more smoothly. And again, just keeping people want to know what's going to be happening next. They want to be kept in the loop. And we may not be sometimes the very best at what we do when we're first starting out, but if we can communicate appropriately and upfront with people, like we were talking earlier, that trust, that likability, that rapport gets built so much faster. And then we've got a client for life.
If you only do one thing, can you be successful?
Yeah. And you can actually be a lot more successful, because when you narrow down and become that absolute expert and authority in your particular niche, that's better than being the jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's why voiceamerica.com does radio, right? We do radio because that's what we do.
Yep. And that is what will make you more successful and the expert in people's eyes, and people want to work with the expert. They want to know that they're getting the most, value for their money and their time. And when you're off doing all kinds of things, well, how can you be the expert in the one particular field? It's great to narrow your focus. It really is. And just become the very best at what you do.
So, Rhonda, how do people get in touch with you and find out more about your coaching services and all of the different things that you do?
Well, everything is there on my website at RondaReady.com. There's a tab for the online system. And when you go there, it'll talk about the different ways to join and to be a member and to get all of the video coaching that I have developed from all my successful one-on-one coaching with my clients, and the CRM system. And then if you want to see a couple demos of the system and hear some testimonials, that's all there too. So there's also a contact us. If you have some questions, you can get a hold of me through that. And everything's there at the website.
Awesome. And being Rhonda Ready means you can spend more time with your family, do what you want to do, and make more money, right?
Exactly.
Man, that's the name of the game. More money and more time with family.
It is, because mutually exclusive, it's not that fun. You know what I mean? You can make a lot more money, but if you don't have the time to enjoy it, really, what's the point? And if you have a lot of time, but you don't have any money, where are you going?
And so that's definitely an awesome point to take home is you got to be able to enjoy it, or what's the purpose of working for it, right?
Right. What is the purpose? I learned that very young. I knew a family that they were farmers, actually, and they were great savers, had lots of money, finally going to retire, didn't do anything throughout. And then he got sick.
Yeah.
On retirement.
I've been trying to tell my mom the same thing. I'm trying to get her to retire, and her answer to me is, well, what am I going to do? She's got plenty of dollars in the bank and a pension and all that kind of stuff to retire, but she just her way of enjoying it is spending time with her clients.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that keeps you young though too. But if she was Rhonda Ready, she could have other people doing the do, and she can be vacationing and coming back and having the best of both worlds and having that salon still making her money while she's out visiting her grandchild and being with you guys.
Oh, luckily she lives here in town, so that's great. We see each other all the time.
That's nice.
Yeah. I have like a bill. I can drop the kid off at mom's house, lickety split, and just I got a built-in babysitter all the time, and it works out wonderfully.
Oh, lucky you, Ryan. That's great.
Well, Rhonda, I want to thank you for joining the show today, guys. We're talking to Rhonda McCrory. You can check out her website, RondaReady.com, RondaReady.com. She's a mom. She's a business owner, a systems savant, as I've been saying the whole show. Make sure you guys go check out her website.